Hey Baddies, we want to take a quick minute to shout out our amazing sponsor, Eli Lilly, for supporting our mission here on Baddie to Baddie. Because of their generosity, we can keep these important conversations about breast cancer awareness, education, and advocacy going strong for our community of women of color. We send our sincere thanks to our partners at Eli Lilly for standing with us. Calling all permanent makeup artists. Discover how you can join our mission to empower breast cancer survivors of color with specialized permanent makeup services. It's more than makeup, it's a movement. Connect with us and find out how you can contribute to this empowering cause by visiting BaddieBeautyCollective.com. In return, you will receive free breast health education, permanent makeup trainings, and much more. The Baddie Beauty Collective is brought to you by For the Breast of Us, Artistry by Zuri, and PM Yukon. If you're a breast cancer survivor looking to boost your confidence and add a bit of swag to your new normal, this is your invitation to explore free and discounted permanent makeup services by artists trained in the specifics and nuances of skin for women of color. From eyebrows to 3D areola and scar transformation, join us and let your journey of empowerment begin. Check out the Baddie Beauty Collective, brought to you by For the Breast of Us, Artistry by Zuri, and PM Yukon by visiting BaddieBeautyCollective.com.
Welcome to Baddie to Baddie, a monthly podcast by For the Breast of Us, the first breast cancer community for all women of color, where we share real-life experiences, information, and education to help you live your best life after a breast cancer diagnosis. Welcome to Baddie to Baddie. Welcome to Baddie to Baddie.
Well, hello, baddies. Welcome to another Baddie to Baddie podcast. I am April, your OG, triple OG, plus size Baddie, here with you today. And I am super excited because For the Breast of Us has been doing some major things this year. And one of the things that has been launched was the In Purpose, On Purpose Scholarship. And I am here today with one of our recipients, Miss Ebony. Let's welcome her to the stage. Hey, Ebony, how are you?
I'm well. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you for being here, and congratulations on being one of the first recipients of the In Purpose, On Purpose Scholarship.
Thank you. Thank you. I was so excited. It definitely helped a lot. Thank you so much.
Great. I'm glad that it was able to help you with any of your needs that you use your funds for. So to get us started, I'm going to yield the floor to you so you could tell us a little bit about yourself. Who is Ebony?
Ooh, Ebony, first and foremost, is a child of God. I'm a mother as well. I'm a sister. I'm a student. I'm a female woman, defined as God's child, and the way He created me. No disrespect to anyone, of course, but I'm a mother, and I think the most important thing also is that I'm a mother that's surviving, through many ordeals. So that's what Ebony is.
Okay, surviving and thriving.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. Where are you from, Ebony?
I'm from Staten Island, New York, born and raised.
Okay. East Coast, big up, East Coast. As you know, For the Breast of Us, we have an expanded reach all across the United States as well as internationally. Our co-founder, Marissa, is from the West Coast. So sometimes we have a little West Coast, East Coast beef, but not really. It's always good fun. So tell me, Ebony, how did you find out about For the Breast of Us?
I found it through my doctor's office, through my oncologist, and then also by doing research, I found you guys also online. That's how online through Instagram. And to be honest, I really do not go on Instagram like that anymore. So for me to find you guys, it was just like a miracle, and God directed me. And when I found it, and I'm just like on your website, and I love the things that you guys stand for, and the aspect of the whole organization. I didn't think I was gonna win because I never really win anything. It's really hard for me. I have to fight for everything I have. So for me winning this, I was just like, to be honest, I didn't think it was real. I didn't think it was real, so I just had to double check my sources and like, okay, it is. But it once I found it on Instagram, I went to the website. I was already following you guys, and then I was like, oh, let me just try my luck, and the door was open when you guys sent the email, and I was just very grateful because as right now, the times are hard for everyone. Yeah. So a $250 scholarship gift card, that can help with groceries, that can help with things you need for the house, things that you need outside, so it was definitely a blessing, from you guys.
Absolutely. Things are hard right now, especially with the way things are in the economy. Everything is more expensive. Food is more expensive, and you still have, medical bills and things that you're having to pay for. So glad that the $250 scholarship was able to help you. Now, you said a couple of things, and I am a believer in Jesus Christ as well. I'm Christian. So, and you mentioned that you don't really get on Facebook or Instagram. So it was definitely divine order.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, so we're thankful for that. Also, you mentioned that you saw information in your doctor's office. Tell me a little bit about what you saw in your doctor's office about For the Breast of Us.
It wasn't necessarily in my doctor's office. It was through the social worker at my doctor's office.
Okay.
She sent me a list of organizations for breast cancer a while ago, and then I was still getting to it because I just finished radiation treatment. So now I was able to like sit down and go through my old things, and I was just like, oh, I never really looked at this organization before, like and various ones. So when I went into it and I looked at For the Breast of Us, and then I think I got more of the information on Instagram once I got like what you guys are about, and I was just like, I like this, I like this program. It fits me, if you know what I mean. But it was definitely a breath of fresh air. And to see that you guys stand for the name of it, For the Breast of Us, like, it's a unique name. So I think that's what stood out to me against all the paperwork and the name from the doctor. From the social worker, about the name. So I was just like, let me just see. This is my first interaction with you guys, to be completely honest. I never, had anything else, but that was like a door for me. Okay, good. Thank you.
Well, welcome to our Baddie tribe.
Thank you.
We are happy to have you. There was I'm not sure if you're familiar with our private Facebook group, but we also have a private Facebook group that's for women of color. And in that group, you have survivor thrivers asking questions, and we support each other, as well as, sharing information in our respective areas. And, one of the reason that For the Breast of Us is here is because we need a space for us. We need a space to be transparent, where we feel safe and comfortable to talk about the things that we're experiencing in our bodies or in our relationships or on the job, what have you, because a lot of the information that was out there when Marissa and I were diagnosed wasn't for women of color. So now that there's this space, and this is a club that you never wanted to join, but once you become a part of this family, you're just so happy to be here. So I welcome you officially to the Baddie tribe, Baddie. So Ebony, you are officially a Baddie now. Yeah. And we also want to thank you for, with this being your first interaction, being a part of the podcast, because that can be a little bit intimidating, but it's also a lot of fun. So make sure that if you haven't already, if you can go and check out our podcast, our previous episodes, we talk about all kinds of things. So hopefully you'll be able to find something that you can connect with and you can use, as well as share with people who you come in contact with.
Of course.
Post diagnosis.
Of course.
Yeah. So, Ebony, tell us a little bit about your diagnosis, when you were diagnosed. Tell us that story.
So it's a quite a different story, if I must say. But I'm also a survivor of childhood cancer.
Oh,
So
okay.
yes, I was first diagnosed with childhood cancer at the age of 14. And then again with that same cancer at the age of 19, it was in my head. And then it metastasized to my head. And then again at the age of 22, when I was pregnant with my daughter, it came again stage 4 of my lungs.
Mhm.
So that was a whole journey in and of itself from the beginning, from childhood, teenage, and then young adult. I had like every stage. I was 10
Mhm.
years free, going to school, taking care of my daughter that they said I would never have, but I had her, taking care of her. And then in 2022, I was just about to graduate. Right before I graduated with my master's, I felt like it wasn't the same because every time I got cancer as from childhood cancer, it was a tumor, right? And the tumor had pain. It was a unique pain, so I knew what it was every time. This one
Mhm.
was a little different because it was like right under my breast. It was on my breastbone.
Mhm.
Um, but it was slow growing. The other tumors that I had in the past were very fast. So I didn't really pay any attention until it started irritating, like under my bra area where I put, like, where your bra sits. It started
Right.
irritating it. So
Right. Right. Right.
I went to one of my doctors, like my plastic surgeon at that time, who did reconstructive surgery for me in the past. And I just had an appointment with him, and I just like, let me bring it up, but knowing that was the Holy Spirit to let me mention it to him because usually I forget to mention it, but that
Mhm.
time I remember. So, and I'm not even thinking about cancer or anything. I was just like, oh, I have an area from, because I had just had a prior surgery. It had nothing to do with cancer a year ago, and I was coming to him for my follow up. And I said, oh, I have this bump right here. I don't know what's from surgery, but can you check it out? So he checked it out and everything. The nurse practitioner checked it out, and she was like, oh, okay. She said, does it hurt? And I'm like, no, not really. She was like, all right, well, we can remove it, but before we remove it, let's see what we're working with. Those were the exact
Mhm.
words. And thank God for that. So I remember that was my first time I ever traveled. I was about to travel to Texas before I got my biopsy. This
Mhm.
2 days later, I went to Texas, and I think 2 days later after that is when I got my results while I was out there at a Christian women's conference. And I tell you, the way God aligns your life, good thing I was out there with the right people when I got that diagnosis because I probably would have lost it because it was something that was unexpected. It was something that came out of left field. I'm the only one in my family that ever had breast cancer, so it doesn't run in my family. I'm also 30. I was at the time I was 33. So just
Mhm.
like all the variables didn't add up, and I always say the odds was always against me that I had to. That's why I say when I had to fight for everything, I literally had to fight for everything. Like, but that's a part of my testimony and my faith. So I got it that September 2022, and the next month was Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And I
Mhm.
was actually attending a gala after that conference, and the gala dress that I picked out months beforehand was actually pink. And I had no idea about the cancer or anything. Pink is the breast cancer color. So I was just like, as I thought about it and everything, I said, God knew what I was about to go through and He prepared me ahead of time.
Mhm.
Because I remember right before this diagnosis, God had aligned, He took me from my job that I was at 6 years and put me in a place where it was a place where people were getting like it was a cancer institute.
Mhm.
He put me in a place where I had to put I had to activate my faith. That's number one. And number two, I had to get rid of my fear of if cancer ever come back. So he put me in a place where cancer was coming back for people left and right. You know what I'm saying? So I'm in their shoes. Like I was the patient at one time, but now I'm also the worker. I'm on the other side. So I'm seeing people coming in for the appointment, getting diagnosed 2 and 3 times, or getting diagnosed for the first time. And I remember when I got diagnosed many a times in the past. I'm now 10 years cancer free at that time. So I'm just like, I heard the spirit say, if your cancer was to come back, what would you do? And I'm like, why is this thought coming to me? Like, I'm like, I never thought about that before. I never thought I would have to get cancer because I fought so much in the past. And then I'm now in a new place as a woman, as a mother, as my relationship with God is different. So that question came and it hit me because it's just like, now you were fighting and you didn't know you was fighting in the past, but now you're really fighting because you have a different relationship with God now. So it's just like, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna trust in me? Are you gonna trust in, are you gonna just quit? Or are you just gonna let it go? Like what would you do if your cancer came back? And the only thing I could think of, Miss April, was I would have to go through it. I would have to go through it, not sit in it, not lay in it, not cry in it, but have to literally hold his hand and walk through it. And that was months before I even got the diagnosis. That time I got that call when I was at the conference, and she said, well, Miss Ebony, and the doctor was kind of confused because she's like, we didn't see this. I just had scans prior before this because they asked me, do you want to have surgery before your graduation or after? And I said, let's wait till after. Thank God I did, because it wasn't fast, but it wasn't quick. It wasn't quick to where I had to speed it up so I had time, but thank God I was able to graduate before I had the surgery because I didn't know this process would take this long. Now, I had cancer in the past, but this is one of the longest cancers I've ever had. Like, as far as the magnitude and the longevity of it all. I usually get chemo, get surgery, get radiation, we done. I feel like this one, I'm in it for a little bit longer. And I know I'm in it a little bit longer for a certain reason. So now that I'm here and I just finished radiation treatment 2 weeks ago. And that was probably like the longest, not the longest, but the hardest part of this whole journey, because even though I had cancer in the past, this cancer hasn't been the hardest, but I had a lot of complications due to my other health issues that made it complicated. If you know what I mean. So it was just like the cancer part itself wasn't bad. It was just everything else that was trying to like deter me, to bring my faith down. All of that was tested in the midst of this one right here. So it was unique. It's unique in and of itself because of the things I had to learn. The way I had to trust. I'm a single mom and I'm not, afraid to say that at all because we're doing really well. But as far as like me having to trust in my faith in God to when he said, I need you to leave your job to focus on your health, I had to trust in someone or in something that I was believing in that I couldn't see, that my only income was on me. So when he said, I need you to trust in me and leave your job and trust that I will take care of you, I had to just leave everything in order for me to still be here to talk to you, to take care of my child. It's me. It's just me. Right. So my faith had to be here the way I was saying it was in order for me to see it through. And I got through it, because it was hard because I never had to do that before. I always had my parents or, stuff like that. I had family around. But this time he secluded me. He secluded me from everything and everyone I know in order for me to trust and hear him better. And when I did that, it was hard in the midst of it. But when I came out of it, I said, thank God. Because now I know he was there when I had no one. He was there when I had to just trust in what I put my faith in, and I was able to come out of it with the diagnosis, with the treatment, with everything, So right now, after surgery, I just had in December and in March of this year, December last year, March of this year, is 0%, but they want to do the radiation in order to eradicate everything. But everything is going, glory to God. But when I say unique, it was unique because it was so many different variables that played a part in it, So
wow.
Yes.
Ebony, you are a warrior, girl.
Ooh, child.
You have, God said, I don't want to hear you talk the talk. I want to see you walk it out. And you,
you
walk it out. You stomped that thing out. And just congratulations to you. Such a powerful story. Such a powerful story.
Yeah, it was moments. It was moments.
When you said that God didn't give you he asked you, what would you do? And would you give it to him or would you just not fight. It reminded me of my own personal story. When I received the news of my diagnosis in 2016, I was in my office at work. And I remember after hanging up the phone with the nurse navigator, I just cried out to God, like, I can't take this. I can't do this. And, you know, all of a sudden a peace came over me and I heard God say, just trust me. I got you.
Yes.
Just give it to me. I got you. And what's funny, Ebony, was I'm a Georgia girl. I'm originally from Georgia and I was living in Savannah, Georgia. I'm a school counselor, and it was in 2013. I was thinking about, finding a new job, working at a different school, changing school districts. I had been in my current school district, or the district at the time. I had been there for like 7 years, and I was ready to move on. And an opportunity presented itself to me to move on to a job outside of Columbia, South Carolina, which was like 2.5 hours from Savannah.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, well, I really didn't want to apply for the job, but I kept being asked, just go ahead and apply. And I applied. I ended up getting the job, got the call that I got the job on my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Within 30 days, I was in Columbia, starting my new life. And, my family was like, oh my God, are you sure you should be doing this? Do you know how much you're going to get paid? They had all of course, concerned parents, right? They had all these questions. So I remember saying to them that when God moves, he moves fast.
Yeah.
And I'm trusting God and I'm stepping out on faith.
Yeah.
And if it had not been for me making that decision, the place where I ended up doing all of my treatment was in Georgia. But at the time, they were only accepting a certain percentage of Georgia residents. Most of their patients were coming from out of state. So the blessing was, if I had not left the state of Georgia, I may not have been able to receive treatment. And it ordered my steps. So, everything was divinely connected.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Divinely connected. So I just, it gives me goosebumps to think about how, not only how God has moved in my life, but to see how he moved in your life and to see how he moved in so many of the lives of the women in our community. And it's so amazing and so powerful. Yeah. Yeah.
He's very strategic.
Very strategic. Absolutely.
We don't know it at the time, but when you sit back, hindsight, after you go through it and you get out of it, and he'll bring it back to you. He'll bring it back to you. Like, this is why I needed you to do this, or this is why I needed you to do that. And it's funny you said your story, because, like I say, he aligns it. You said it, because when I graduated, right, and this is before the surgery, I wanted to graduate, but I wanted to move out of state. I wanted to go to the DMV area, because my degree is where all of that is, like the government and stuff like that. I wanted God's people in that position. And I was ready to go. I was ready to take off. I'm like, nothing stopping me. We going. Miss April, when I tell you, like, I never really have a problem with filling out a job. And now, got some deniers in that, but I never had a problem with filling out a job that I really wanted. Excuse me. And prayed on. And God didn't open that door. But this time it was a little different, because when I tell you, I filled out like 30 to 35 applications. Even applications where I knew I was qualified for, that I just wanted to get you, just to get out there, the door never opened.
That's not where he wanted you to be.
When I tell you, Miss April, I got interviews, 2 or 3 interviews. I'm like, I got it. It was silence after. I'm like, after a while, I said, there's something going on. There's something going on. And when I tell you, I had this, like someone just said, just stop and trust me. Like, God was like, just stop. So I was upset at myself, because when you really want something, and it's just like, he said, I had a coach at the time, and she said, what if it's not no, but what if it's not yet? And I didn't hear that at the time, but she said, what if it's no, just not no, but it's just not yet? And then I laid the diagnosis. And it was just like, if I would have uprooted my daughter went out there, I would have had to come all the way back to my doctors, because my doctors been saving me since I was 14 years old. I wouldn't have been able to trust nobody.
Right.
You know, I'm not saying that, you know, he wouldn't have lined me out there, but it would have been much harder because I needed what I needed out here. You know, so he never opened that door for me to leave, because everything I needed was where I was at. You know, and then the beautiful part about that is, once he told me to leave that job, because he only put me there in order to face my fear. Remember, it wasn't because he kept saying to me, "This is not long term, so don't get comfortable." And I'm like, "Don't get comfortable." I love the job, like I loved it. You know, everything had everything. You know, I wanted. It wasn't my dream though, but it was comfortable. You know, so when he said, "You're not going to be here long," you know, don't get comfortable. So I was like, okay. But then the way it happened, it was just like, oh, wow, okay. So he was like, "I need you to leave now." It wasn't, "Oh, I need you to give me 2 weeks." I was only able to give a week notice, you know, but my job and my mission there was to get my fear out, face it, get the news, and then trust him after that. Once I decided to leave and I was like, okay, I'm going to trust you, the door that I wanted to open in the DMV area opened here. Right after that.
Wow.
When I looked at my phone the day I got the call, and I hadn't applied, I took a test years ago, forgot about it. But it's like, when you put your faith in me and you trust me, and you take that step, I'm gonna meet you. I took the step, he met me, and he exceeded my expectations. When I tell you, the door that he opened, I had peace on the job. I have tranquility. It's aligned to everything I want to do. It's just like, when I didn't do it and I allowed him to take the door, it worked out. So
I want to go back for just a second. You mentioned that, you know, everything aligned and you were able to remain with the doctors that you had been with since you were 14. Yes. So when you were diagnosed with the breast cancer, although it's different from the childhood cancer, you were able to keep the same oncology team, or did you have another oncology team that worked with your previous oncology team?
Yes. So I'm just gonna say my doctors are NYU, like New York University, NYU. So they have a whole host of doctors. So any doctor that I need, they know exactly who to align me with and to go with. So when I was with my plastic doctors at NYU, but then when we got the diagnosis, they was able to, you know, refer me to my breast oncologist that I'm with now. So they all are connected some way. That's what I was saying. Like, they all know my history and they all come together. And with me, because I've had so much, you know, history and comorbidities in the past, they all have to work together in order to give me the best treatment plan, you know?
Wow.
So if I was already in another state, like, it could have happened there, but then it would have been a lot more, you know, difficulty.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That is so amazing.
That's what I was saying when I said, I would have had to come back, because it was, I know what I have, you know, like, me not having cancer, I could be able to leave and then get my checkups, you know, every few years or a few months and stuff like that, keep coming back and forth. That's no problem. But if I'm under treatment, I need to be where my doctors are.
So Ebony, let me ask you this question. With all that you've been through with your walk with cancer, what would be your advice to a newly diagnosed breast cancer baddie?
I'm going to say my advice first would be to get your emotions out the way first. Like, cry, pray, do whatever you need to do in order to release it first, right? Because once we try to hold on to, like, it's okay, and we not, I wouldn't say lie to ourselves, but we say something to others to make it seem like we're okay in it. When we're actually not. Some are, like, you know, like, I was okay eventually, but in the moment I wasn't, like, you know. To me, I would just say, get your emotions out the way first. Next would be, the only thing I could really say, because it worked for me, and that was the only thing I did, was hear what God has to say. Wait until he aligns you. Like, if it doesn't feel right, most likely it's not. Even also be an advocate for your care. You know, because if and that's the main thing, because I'm always speaking on, I'm asking questions. Why am I getting this? Why are we doing this? How long is this going to be? Not to be annoying, but also to let you know that I'm watching, I'm paying attention, and I want to know exactly what's going on with me. I want everyone to, I would like everyone to be on the same page. Like, make sure your doctors are aligned and all on the same page, as because this is you. You get one body. Like, you know, you get one time to get this right, like, you know, or multiple times to get it right, but you still got one body to live through, you know? So just make sure you think about you first. It's okay to be selfish a little bit in this time, right? But we still have to exude kindness, graciousness, and, you know, patience with these doctors. But you are okay. It's okay to speak up. It's okay to be like, I don't think this is correct for me, you know, because it was plenty of times, thank God, it was plenty of times that I had to say to people, because they're doing their job, right? But some people do their job, and there's people that have a passion to do their job. And I know the difference very well. So there's people that you're going to come across, or they're going to come across, and you can be like, that's not best for me. I know that I can't take this. Or they'll be like, oh, well, this is the only thing we have. Well, then I can't take it because I know what this does to my body. No one's going to advocate for yourself or your body the way you are.
Absolutely.
You know, doctors are going to say, oh, this is best, but you know how it, you may know or may not know how it affects you. So okay to ask questions, get health literacy about it. And that's one thing I would definitely say is get your health literacy regarding your diagnosis. You know, like make sure you know and understand what's going on with you every step of the way. So just take your time. Later on, ask questions, go through the process of treatment, and later on, give God the glory.
I love it.
That's it.
I love it.
Get
your emotions out of the way.
That's it. And that's gonna be an ongoing thing with the emotions, because you're gonna have up days, down days, happy days, crying days, and some days you're gonna know why you crying. You don't even know why you're crying, but you're crying. You know, but once you be able to, once you get your emotional intelligence together and be like, it's okay, but as long as we get up after that and get it and still keep going, the thing is you can't stop. We got to keep going.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. Well, Ebony, now that you are on the other side of treatment and surgeries, what is your vision for life moving forward post cancer? What do you have coming down the pipe that you're a new adventure or a new voyage that you're about to take?
Miss April, that is a very loaded question, my dear. But I'm gonna give you a little brief of it.
Okay.
When I say all right, so I used to be the person that always was in control of everything, right? Up until this diagnosis, I had to learn, like, I don't have control of anything anymore. When I said, your will be done, he took over. That means I'm in the dark now, even though I can see everything in front of me. That means everything I have, he knows the plans for me. So I can plan, but he's going to order my steps, right? So everything that I've done in the past aligned up with what he allowed me or he wants me to be and do for his purpose, which is ultimately my purpose. His will, my purpose, right? Which I got cancer, I got cancer, I got cancer, I got cancer. Cancer is the theme of my life. And I'm still to live and tell a tale about it. So I know that has something to do with what he wants me to do. I.e., I'm on this podcast, right? I did other things in the past, like, you know, but to get this story out and the way he has moved in my life. Right now, like I said, at that time I was graduating with my master's. I got my degrees in the past for the world, right? I'm going to say for the world. Now I'm getting my degree, my last and final degree, which is my doctorate in Christian leadership. He aligned me with that. I had no idea about what I was going to go to school eventually for my doctorate, but in the field that I got my other degree in. But he said, no, I need you to do this for me because I need them to see who I am. I need them to see me through you. And I'm a willing vessel to do that. So if I have to be credible, go to school, take my classes through the midst of treatment, because I'm still on, you know, hormonal treatment and stuff like that. I still have to take care of my kid. I'm still working. You know, I'm still a single parent for now until he sends me my God ordained.
Come on now.
In the name of Jesus, I'm going to do what he asked me to do. And that's be obedient and take heed to his direction. So right now, I'm in school for my doctorate in Christian leadership and strategic ministries. Okay. So when he opens the door, when I'm fully complete and done, it's his will be done. So I have no idea. I just have things aligned that he's putting in my path. But the vision, he don't want to give it to me yet. I don't know what it is. But if I'm still here, and I know it has a lot to do with breast cancer, because it's just the way that this whole, like, I've had cancer in the past for the longest, but everything is moving now. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's if you understand, it's weird. But yes, it's timing now. And it's Kairos timing. You know, not Cronus, it's Kairos. It's his time, not my timetable, not our timetable. But when I was able to step back and allow him to move in my life, I could see everything that I was doing that he aligned me to do come together. So the picture is forming, but I can't see the whole thing yet. So right now I'm going to be doing the podcast. Later on, you know, who knows what he got open for me, but I know it has to do with getting his voice out and to allow people to see who he is, that he's there. And all we have to do is give him, first of all, call out to him. Build that relationship with him. And once you build that relationship with him, it's going to be a little bit easier to trust him. Because you're going to start seeing his hand move in your life. And that's all you got to ask for. Let me see your hand, Dad. Let me see your hand. What you going to do, Dad? What you going to do today? What we doing? I'm tired of that. What we doing? I don't want to do this, Dad, but what we doing? Like, you know? And when you see his hand, it's going to scare you a little bit because you were like, you was here all this time and I wish I would have did this sooner. But he don't pay attention to time because he knows you was going to get it right anyway. You know? I didn't think I would live. I didn't think, to be honest, Miss April, I didn't think I would live to 20. I was diagnosed at 14. Everybody around me was, when I say going like flies, like I'm going, like 1 minute we'll be at camp and I'm 16 at camp with a bunch of friends. The next month we at the group. This one's not here. What happened? Oh, he's in the hospital. Next month they passed away. And that was recurrent. So all I knew was I'm next. The same type, like, you know, I'm next. It's next. So, like, but glory to God, my time never came because I feel it wasn't my time. And I operated in something in his faith that I didn't even know what I was doing at the time. Like, you know, I was just operating in faith. Every time I was in that hospital bed, I'm going home. I'm going home. I'm going home. And what happened? I went home. I had the willpower to do it. Some give up. I never gave cancer that benefit. And I never will.
Good.
That's why
Ebony, I am so glad that we had the opportunity to connect today. I am so thankful that you allowed this to be your first podcast opportunity. And I know that there will be many to come. And here For the Rest of Us, we welcome you on more podcasts. If you want interested in writing a blog, or if you're interested in taking over our Instagram page for a day and telling more of your story and connecting more with others in the community, we're definitely excited and we'll welcome you to do that. Because like I said, you're officially a baddie and a part of our tribe, and we're happy to have you here. Thank you. To close us out, I like to keep it a little fun. I'm like I said, I'm the OG baddie. I was diagnosed in 2016. So, and I mentioned to you earlier, you know, a whole little bit of the East Coast, West Coast battle. So if you had to choose between, so DMX.
You said DMX?
DMX or Snoop Dogg?
DMX.
What's your favorite DMX song?
Slippin'.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Slippin'. Like that's my song. Yep. You know? God bless. But yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Miss Ebony, thank you for joining us today. It has been a pleasure to have you on Baddie to Baddie. I look forward to having many more interactions with you we have some things coming soon in 2025.
Okay.
And I hope that you will be able to be a part of that. That information will be dropping soon. And until next time, baddies, we will see you later.
This is another Baddie creation brought to you by For the Rest of Us. Don't forget to subscribe to Baddie wherever you get your podcasts. And follow us on Facebook and Instagram at For the Breast of Us, on Twitter at The Breast of Us, and check us out online at breastofus.com. Thanks for listening.